He raced into the flames to save a stranger, never asking for anything in return. But when the smoke cleared and her true identity was revealed, his life changed in a way he never could have imagined. The fire tore through the old apartment complex like a living beast, swallowing everything in smoke and fear. Noah Bennett, 35, a single father working 2 jobs to keep food on the table, had just finished his shift at the auto shop when he spotted the thick black smoke curling into the sky over Maplewood Towers. Without thinking, he slammed on the brakes and sprinted toward the chaos. Crowds gathered on the sidewalk, some shouting, others frozen. Flames licked out of broken windows. Screams echoed from inside, and then he heard it. A faint cry. Someone was still trapped. Ignoring the shouts to stay back, Noah pulled his jacket over his mouth and dove into the building. Inside, the heat was a monster of its own. Walls groaned, ceilings sagged. Through the smoke, he found her, a woman in her late 20s, coughing violently, pinned under fallen debris. "Hang on," Noah shouted, adrenaline surging through him. With burning arms and a will tougher than steel, he yanked the heavy beam off her and scooped her into his arms. She was dazed, barely conscious, but she clung to him like the lifeline he was. They crashed through the front door just as a section of the roof collapsed behind them. Paramedics rushed in, pulling the woman onto a stretcher. Noah staggered back, his lungs burning, his clothes scorched. Someone tried to interview him, shoving a microphone in his face. "Why'd you risk your life for a stranger?" a reporter asked breathlessly. Noah just shrugged, voice hoarse. "Because someone had to." And with that, he turned and disappeared into the crowd, not waiting for thanks, fame, or recognition. He didn't know that the woman he just saved was Amelia Cross, multimillionaire, philanthropist, and the owner of Maplewood Towers, and she had no intention of letting the man who saved her stay invisible. The next morning, headlines exploded across the city. Mystery hero saves woman from blaze at Maplewood Towers. Millionaire Amelia Cross rescued by unknown stranger, news anchors speculated. Social media swirled with blurry photos of Noah disappearing into the night. Everyone wanted to know who he was. Everyone except Noah himself. He sat quietly in his tiny kitchen, sipping burnt coffee, his daughter Lily, 7 years old, braiding her doll's hair at the table. No talk of newspapers, no chasing glory, just another day trying to make rent and keep promises. Meanwhile, across town, Amelia Cross, still in the hospital, bandaged but alive, watched the news play clips of her rescue over and over, not out of vanity, out of determination. "Find him," she told her assistant, her voice still raspy. "I don't care what it takes. I need to thank him properly." But finding Noah wasn't easy. He had no social media, no flashy life, no trail that wealth could easily follow. It was Lily who changed everything. At her elementary school's Hero Day, kids were asked to bring someone they admired. Lily, small and proud, held up a crayon drawing. Her daddy carrying a woman out of a burning building. The teacher, stunned, quietly passed the story to a local paper. Within hours, the dots connected, photos matched, names surfaced. And Amelia? She drove herself. Stitches, bruises, hospital gown tucked under a heavy coat, straight to Noah's neighborhood. Not in a limo. Not with cameras. Just a battered old sedan and a heart full of gratitude. When Noah opened his cracked front door that evening, he didn't expect to see the woman from the fire. He didn't expect her tears, or her hug, or the words that would change everything. "You saved my life. Now let me help rebuild yours." Because saving her hadn't just pulled Amelia from the fire. It had awakened a fierce loyalty in her soul. And Noah was about to learn that sometimes Kindness given freely comes back bigger than you ever dared to dream. Noah stood frozen in the doorway, unsure whether to invite her in or apologize for the peeling paint on his porch. Amelia smiled gently, as if sensing his hesitation. "Please," she said, "can I come in for a moment?" He stepped aside, awkward but polite, while Lily peeked from behind the kitchen doorway, her eyes wide. Inside, the little house was clean but tired. Second-hand furniture. A patched-up heater humming in the corner. Noah pulled out a chair for Amelia, still not quite believing what was happening. Amelia wasted no time. She pulled out a thick envelope and slid it across the table. "This is a start," she said. "A thank you." Noah frowned, confused. He opened it, and his breath caught. Inside was a cashier's check with more zeros than he had ever seen, enough to erase every debt, enough to change Lily's life forever. He pushed it back toward her immediately. "I didn't save you for money." "I know," Amelia said softly. "That's exactly why you deserve it." Noah shook his head, stubborn. "I'm not a charity case." Amelia leaned forward, her voice steady. "Then don't see it as charity. See it as a partnership. I own dozens of properties, some good, some barely standing. I need someone honest, someone brave, someone who cares about people more than profit." She smiled. "I need someone like you, Noah." The offer stunned him. A new career, a salary that would let Lily go to the best schools, a chance to rebuild not just his life, but whole communities. No tricks, no strings, just one simple truth. Amelia Cross wanted to bet on goodness. And she saw more of it in a poor mechanic with calloused hands and a big heart than she ever had in boardrooms full of suits. Noah looked at Lily, whose big brown eyes were shining with hope. He turned back to Amelia. "You sure you want someone like me running your properties?" She laughed, a real, unguarded laugh. "Noah, someone like you? I wish I had an army of you." And in that moment, something inside Noah shifted. For the first time in years, he wasn't surviving. He was about to start living. And it all began with one reckless, selfless decision to run toward the fire, and a woman who refused to let a true hero go unseen. Months later, the change in Noah's life was visible to anyone who looked. He wasn't just another tired face blending into the city crowd anymore. He now wore clean boots, carried blueprints under his arm, and walked into meetings with confidence he never thought he could own. Because Noah Bennett wasn't just repairing old properties now. He was rebuilding entire neighborhoods under Amelia's newly launched initiative: cross-community renewal, affordable housing, community centers, job training programs. And at every groundbreaking ceremony, Amelia made sure Noah stood right beside her, not as an employee, not as a token story, but as a partner. Lily thrived, too. New clothes, a real backpack, piano lessons she once only dreamed of. She told her teacher proudly, "My daddy's a builder now. He builds places where everyone can have a home." And Noah? Every night, he tucked her in with a heart full of something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. At the ribbon cutting of the first finished project, Amelia handed Noah a plaque. Simple, heavy, beautiful. The engraving read, "In honor of those who run toward the fire, not away from it, for the hearts brave enough to change the world one act at a time." Noah tried to speak, but couldn't. Instead, he shook her hand, then pulled her into a hug that said more than words ever could. A photo from that day now hangs in the lobby of every cross-community building. Noah, smiling shyly, hard hat crooked on his head, standing in front of homes he helped save. Not just structures, but futures. The caption underneath reads, "Built on courage, strengthened by kindness, made possible by one man's choice to care. Because sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear soot-streaked jackets, run straight into the fire without thinking, and walk out with a future bigger than they ever believed they deserved.